Hey everyone, welcome back. This is going to be a video on adding brushless to this. This originally was going to be in the last video with the links and brass portal cover stuff and whatnot, but that was already starting to get too long. I'm trying to keep them under about half hour. Plus this went through 3 different motors to get where I wanted it. So I was trying to show you guys at least a little bit of it. You'll see coming up next. This is future me talking about what past me is going to talk about the other day. Yeah. But anyways, so it sounds like you're going to be coming in the middle of a conversation, but you kind of are. And like I said, this just got snipped to be separate. Hope this helps anyone out trying to add a brushless to this. It's not just a drop in straightforward unless you want to use the Purple Viper like you'll see. But then I had small issues with it. Maybe just because it's a smaller motor and the weight, but I kind of talk about that coming up. So anyways, on with the video. All right. So going to the Purple Viper. I tried to use the Go Up RC one. It bolts in fine and it sort of worked. It does not have the torque to move this that well. If you're in low gear and trying to really go slow, it just kind of jitters and kind of stops and browns out. So I tried to change a few settings in AM32 and whatnot. It's just I don't know what's going on with this. It's probably just some cheaper magnets in the motor. I'm not sure. Probably in an SCX24 would probably be a little better, a little lighter weight. The only thing I can think of. So yeah, maybe it'll go into something else. Purple Viper, I put it in. It moves it fine with this MLB32. Can't stand the jumpiness of the AM32, so we're just going straight to Escape 32. I did try messing with this AM32 software, trying to change the sign startup and power and all that. It's just not working. So and why bother with it when I have the Big Kid Tiny Trucks ESC, and I know it'll work, no problem. So we're just gonna do that. The motor went in no problem. You just take this one was for the TRX4M, so I just took off the adapter plate. It goes from 12 millimeters to 14 millimeters, and it bolts right up. No problem. To get that in there, to get it out of there, I mean, I took the bolts out of the skid, and when you're going to take this out anyways, you need to remove the stock combo for the ESC receiver. So once you pull that out, it frees up like this whole side here, and then you can take out this front. It actually makes it easier. I put it back in just because it wasn't flopping around. But you just take that off, and then you can pull the frame to the side, because there's I'll pop this back in. Make sure that this doesn't fall out the gear. Man, I gotta figure out the lighting in here. All right, sorry about that. I was trying to fix some lighting. When you go to take this out, this gear here, it still didn't really help a ton, but this gear here and the shaft will fall out usually with this motor horn area. So just watch out for that. You just push it back in. You'll see the gear work on the other side where it goes into. The reason we need to loosen this up is because of this mount here. I tried going through there, but it kind of fits, but with the nose in, it's too close to the frame. So it's just easier for me to loosen it all up. So when you go to put the motor back in, pop that, make sure the shaft's in there, make sure the gear's in there. Slide this down here. It actually goes in pretty easy. You just need to line up the edges, and it kind of just pops right in. This one, because I bought it for the TRX4M, already had the 11 tooth 0.4 mod pinion on it, but I had already bought some extra ones just to have. Well, I didn't have to use them, so another project. You got the 2 screws on the top here. This is a plastic casing, so just snug them up. Don't go too hard. You don't want to warp the plastic. Then the other 2 are on the ones on the side, like I was saying. Well, let's see on this camera actually. we're looking to go there, you just pull this over. You can aim down in and get it no problem. And as soon as you see the gap close up on the top here, just don't go too far. This is actually the same transmission as the Arctos, so it's this pretty much the same disassembly. And there's a screw right here. Just kind of go to the side of the pumpkin and you can get it no problem. Don't need to go into the skid anymore. I mean the center anymore at all, so we'll just put all this back in. At first I took out all four, thinking I could maybe drop the skid a little bit, but I didn't really. So this is some dubbed over audio because apparently my camera died. I was saying that I thought I had to take out all 4 bolts for the skid and drop the skid down to get to some bolts for the transmission. So this is nothing you'll have to do. I was just putting those bolts back in. I like spinning the outrunner motors apparently. I think I was pointing out to make sure that you don't over tighten that transmission. You just want to get it closed up. And now we're going to get on to the Escape 32. Alright, so I usually start out with soldering the DuPont connector that goes to receiver side because you need to put the power onto the BEC, and then the signal is on this side and then ground's on this side. Then I flip it over and I'll usually do this side for the power for the battery, and then for the battery the motor connector. So what I like to do is add a little bit of flux. You're not going to put anything on this metal pad because that's the power if you weren't going to do the BEC. And then I will usually tin up both the connector and the ESC itself. So just a touch of solder. You don't need much. And the reason I do this one first is because you're gonna cut these two, so they don't bind up and like kind of circle out or whatever. You want it only touching that pad. It's not easy to do when I'm trying to do it under the camera. Yep. So I'm not saying that I am the best at soldering, but I've never had one break off, so it's good enough for that at least. So then I'll usually see how long this is, and I'll cut it down. Man, got everything connected. Okay. I should have just tinned this one while I had it apart at the beginning. And see, now I soldered it a little too long. There we go. Just don't want to touch anything else. And you get the ground on this side. So it's on there. This is way easier when you have helping hands holding it, but trying to do it on here so you can see it is a little harder, but it'll work for now. I'll probably clean it up later. Then you have like these are the motor wires. I would usually do this connector next, but we'll just do the power and ground here with positive on this side, ground on this side. Ground usually just on the same side as that one. So again, we'll put a little flux on there. Tin these ends up. You can buy these already built by him too. I just like to sometimes shorten my wires depending on the build. So I just buy them like this, and they're like $10 cheaper I think this way too. So, and I don't mind doing the work. One of these days I'll get one of those pens instead. I just already have that, so I've just been using it. All right, let me check it out. Clean up the ground one a little bit. Focus. I said focus-ish. Well, you get the idea. Ground, positive. Those are together. I'm using a Pencil, USB-C programmable-ish one. You can update software and everything. I've never done that. It works fine for me. I just have it like 450 degrees Celsius or whatever it is. Been great. Heats up fast, cools down pretty quick, so not bad. I usually just check it over, make sure nothing bridged. You don't want any ground touching anything, sensor touching anything, power, nothing. So let's plug this in. All right, now I'm zoomed out so you can see it. Apparently when you're zoomed in, maybe it's a 4K thing because I switched to 4K instead of 1080. Didn't realize I was on the lower res the whole time before. You can't zoom back out of 3x apparently, so whatever. Anyways, once you plug this in, it's going to turn on automatically. I switched to the RC6GS or RC4GS because the Mias, you can only, I don't know, I didn't read the description, I guess, but you can't switch between trucks unless you want to bind each time. I thought it had a memory for like 10 trucks or something like that, but it doesn't. And I'm not dealing with that because I'd have 1,000 radios, I feel like. So the RC4GS is fine for now until I can find something smaller. But yeah, so we're on the R4 FGM receiver. I haven't programmed this ESC at all either. I did bind this to it already. No throttle for some reason. I have steering. Let me check all my connections, I guess, and I'll be back. Yeah, I'm back now. There wasn't a problem, except that I forgot that you need to change the settings on the Escape 32 setup because it comes direct default forward only. So when you have forward reverse trigger, it will never arm unless you pull it back. Then it'll arm and then it'll wing and go flying if you don't change this. So you have to go into set. You plug in your Wi-Fi link. You go to your Wi-Fi. Click on Escape 32. Once it pops up, you're going to go down to throttle mode. You want forward reverse. And that's the only thing we'll change for now. I will hit save. Then you should be able to turn it just to test it. Left, right, right, left. Then you can, yep, and we have movement now. So that's why it wasn't working. But I'm going to exit out of this, make sure everything works, and then we'll come back to programming for Escape 32. All right, plug back in. And also, I thought it was the battery, so I went and grabbed this bigger battery for now because maybe the battery's dead. We are connected. And it sounds so much better than the MLB32 in general. That is not even changing any settings in the Escape 32, and it's so much smoother. I was having the biggest jump from sign to trap mode, and I could not get rid of it with that MLB32. Not even any setting changes, and it's working fine. And plenty of power. So much more power. Not even going to bother with the MLB32 stuff anymore. AM32 can just go away. The only thing left to do on this is it comes with a black heat shrink, which is fine. I just like the clear so I can see any issues inside of it, which I've never had one, but you never know. I usually have it try to cover up as much as I can here to the edge. And I usually don't have this much, so I'm going to chop that off. But I got to get my heat gun, so I'll be back. All right, heat gun acquired. I'm going to shorten this a scotch. I just had an ESC here. Oh, there it is. There we go. Slide it on. You just want to be able to cover all the metal connections, really. Anything that was soldered, anything on the board, anything like that. So there you go, just like that. Should be good there. That way I can just see if anything burnt up, if there's any issues at all. It's not necessary. You can just use the black that he comes with, no issue, no problem. So we should be able to plug all this back in. Just confirm everything's good. That seems to be good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up this and the table, and then I'll come back with some final things. And the wiring, I'm just going to, I had added the wires into this. It didn't come with it, so I already have a connector on there. But I'm going to change all of these to be on just a regular DuPont connector, so I can just plug into the ESC. Because I don't turn lights on and off or anything. If I want to, I could put in like one of the light switches or whatever, but I don't even use those. So I just leave them on. All right, I'll be back. All right, it's getting a Fat Viper. I tried doing the Purple Viper, and it does pretty well. It works okay, but the I couldn't get it to smooth out the transition. And I know that I have a good tune for the Fat Viper for the Arctos, so why not just put the same thing in this one? It works fine. I don't know if it's something to do with like maybe this one's a little bit higher kV than this, if I remember correctly, or maybe just the little bit bigger of the truck compared to like an SCX24 or what. But I just couldn't get it to smoothly transition out, and it was kind of where I wanted to be for when I was crawling. So I just got another Fat Viper. I'm going to throw that in there. I'll put the same tune as I have in the Arctos and go from there. The only difference is putting this in compared to the Fat Viper is it's a 16 millimeter spacing, and this is 12 millimeters. So I made up an adapter like I did for the Arctos to 14 millimeter, but instead I just changed the spacing to 12. So it has the nuts in there like I did on the other one. The same spacing for the motor. I'm going to toss this in, see how it goes, and I'll be back. All right, got that on there. What I did on the Arctos 2 is I make the mounting holes in the transmission a little bigger, and then that way I can adjust the mesh, and it's like perfect. It seems that way. The problem is that this wobbles, so you got to get it just as close as you think you can. What I do is I put it tighter than I feel like it should be, and then when I put it in there, it actually is perfect when it goes in, or it feels perfect, and it's way less noisy that way. So we will see how it goes now with that. But yeah, it seems to be a good fit. It's pretty smooth. So put this back in. Gear back in. I put the wire going up. I'm hoping that should be out of the way of the mount. I didn't really think of it. Oh yeah, that'll go right through. I did have this originally this direction when I had the Purple Viper in. But now that the Fat Viper's in there, it's going to hit it. So turning this around though, that should fit perfectly in there. I might trim this plastic on the side here. I had already trimmed off all the mounts for the servo winch part. I'm never going to put a winch on here. But yeah, when I put this in, I might have to trim that little edge there, which is fine. Not a problem at all. But it'll fit perfectly. I'll move this back a little bit just so it's not so close. Make sure the wires aren't touching anything. Yeah, I had this in there and moving it around. I just didn't really like that transition from sign to trap for it. So we'll see if this is any better. I'll get this put back together and get the same tune as the Arctos put in it. I'll go over that on here too, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, all back together, cleaned up, wired up. I had to have an extension for this just to get over, an extension for the steering. Double side taped it to the frame, zip tied a little bit on the top, make sure it doesn't hit the Fat Viper. Full articulation. This has a little bit of slack still, no problem. For right now, I have the Radio Link R4FGM in there on my RC4GS, but I was going to use that Mias controller Realized it didn't have multi-model, so I couldn't do multiple trucks. Realized that there's two different versions of it, and I didn't know that. There's like an A and a B. I had bought like A, and it doesn't do multi-vehicle, and there's a B. So I returned the first one, and now I'm waiting. Today should be coming in the other one that does multi-vehicle. I wanted that one, a small one, for all the small trucks, because I put them in my backpack and go for a hike. And I just didn't want a bigger, bulkier truck radio, because I've been using like a separate, the 4GS for the smaller trucks and the 6GS for the bigger trucks, just so I can kind of separate them a little bit. But so that should be in. That has the light controller too, so I'm not going to bother with the lights right now. These will just end up all going onto a like a DuPont regular servo connector. I think it is on the light controller, but it's like a 2-pin, so you got to cut off like one side. If not, then it's a JST, kind of like this. But either way, I have the connectors. I'll just make it work. I just don't know which one it has until it comes in. But the receiver with the light controller is not going to be in here until tomorrow, though. So we'll see. But I wanted to get this video up for tomorrow, so I'm trying to finish this up. The lights are nothing. I think it's gonna end up being like this, where it needs a 2-pin connector. So I'll just chop off one side of it. So the only thing left to do is I did run it a little bit on the tune I had from the Purple Viper, and it was doing pretty good actually already, way better. But I just wanted to try playing with it a little bit. I got the settings off of my Arctos that I'm using. I'm going to try that tune to see if it's any better. So you gotta plug in the power, unplug from your receiver the servo connector, plug in your Wi-Fi link. There's an S positive in ground you'll see on the Wi-Fi linker right there. Just white goes to signal. So just make sure they line up, and then the power on the ground too. Then you're gonna open up your phone, go to settings, Wi-Fi, hit Escape 32 Wi-Fi, and it should pop up your setting. This is, like I said, all the old settings I had originally for when I was trying to make the Purple Viper work. So 16 sign start. I had 10, but I like to do 25. I was trying 10. That's the percentage of trigger, how much you're in sign to go really slow. I was trying to go less of it, so then I was out of the transition on where I wanted the trigger when I'm crawling slowly. So I went to 10, but I'm going to go back up to 25. I had tried 12 startup power. Usually I keep it at 8 where it comes factory, so I'm going to put that back to 24, 48, 100. Drag brake, yep, active drag brake. When you get a do-it-yourself one, or if you flash your own Escape 32, you have to change throttle mode from forward to forward reverse, but I've already done that. You also need to turn on active drag brake, 100% drag brake power. Let's see here. It doesn't come with protection temp. I put 85. It's 85 degrees Celsius, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's in Celsius. And that's just so if it starts to overheat on the ESC, it'll shut off automatically instead of burning it up. Also, low voltage detection's off. Usually it's 0. I put 33 for 3.3 volts per cell. And then the other thing you gotta do is prot stall. It's stall protection. It's what helps go from sign to trap mode. It kind of gives it a little jump. Usually it's only 2200 to 2800. I have it at 3000 because I was trying to get that transition to work really good. I just couldn't get it. On the Arctos, I have 2600. Yeah, 2600 it looks like. So I'm going to try that. And that's where I was. Right here is exactly where I was with the Arctos. So I'm going to hit save. Let's see if we can to arm it so you can try it. You can just slide this over and back and you hear a beep. And you can slowly ramp it up. Oh, I'm probably in high range. I was in high range, so it's never going to want to crawl really, really slow and creep like that. So let's see. Am I still in? Yeah, sort of still in frame. Getting rid of all that slop in the gears. This transition right there. Way better than the Purple Viper. There's a little hitch, but probably. Let's see if we go, let's see, 14 poles. Sign power was fine, but you know what? Let's turn it up a little bit. It seemed to have a little hitching at first too with that. Save. Go back. You can change the VEC, but this is the stock servo still, so I'm not going to change that any higher than 5.5. That was a small hitch. Let's go to 28. Still a little hitch there, but I don't know. Maybe it's just this combination of truck. I'm not sure. It's the same transmission pretty much, so it should be fine. And the Arctos is like buttery smooth, like no issue. I'll try 10 for power. Oh, way better. There's a little small hitch, but I'll try jumping it up to 3,000. See if that. I'll probably have to go too high, but. Oh, there we go. That's the ticket. Almost completely unnoticeable. There's a little. All right. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to keep it for there for now. Those are the few things you got to change when you get a new ESC. If you get it from BKTT, one that's already wired up, he comes with a stock tune that's kind of good all around. Those are the things you can kind of start messing with originally to start off with. The other things you can mess with, but those are the original ones to change and set. The other thing you can do is firmware. I've already updated this one because I was playing with it last time. No, firmware is actually 14. I thought I did this update. I think I already downloaded it. Yep, 14.5. The only problem is it's going to delete everything we just did. There we go. Update. Just make sure Escape 32 is the same one. I just did the Cupcake and the Arctos, so I had downloaded the right firmware for this one because it's the same ESC in both. Updated successfully. Reset. And now we got to change everything back to where we were. I had this at, I want to change that back to 8. That's where I usually like it anyways. Drag brake, 100%. Active drag brake on. Forward, see it comes stock forward, you gotta do forward reverse, or else if you try to play with the throttle on your controller, you'll have to go full brake, and then it'll arm, and then you'll have, if you let it go, it'll just zoom off on you. Approach stall, what do we have it at, like 3,000? Nope. Temp, 85. Voltage, 33. I'll leave the current, the cells at 0. That's so it auto detects what LiPo you have, like the cells. That should be everything that I had, if I remember correctly. So just make sure we're back to where we were. Arm it by going all the way over and back. Yeah, I'd say that's I think we're good. I'm gonna go with that. I'll go test it out. Let you know how it goes. It's I already know it's gonna be way smoother. I can't wait for that other controller to come too, to have a little smaller guy, light controller all together and everything. So, but I'll come back later with a conclusion for you. Alright, and we're back from testing it out. The smaller Mias controller ended up coming in with the multi model option. I didn't realize there was two. This is like a Model B, and the other one's like a Model A. I don't know which one's which. I can't remember. I'll have it in the description. But one does one truck, and the other one can do up to like 10. I don't understand why you would even put out a single. Just have the 10. What's it matter? I got the receiver with the light control in it. I have all the lights hooked back up. I don't do blinkers, but I wanted the marker lights on as marker lights. I put in some like kind of whitish, stock white LEDs in here. These are off of like the front of like an STX24, like a bumper or whatever. The stock lights are already kind of yellow, like a halogen, which I kind of like that just because it's a 80s kind of style rock van. Tail lights are in. Also, you can do, so when it's on like this, it's in parking light mode, the red lights. It's kind of like a brake though. So when you go to drive it at all, it dims to like tail lights. Then you go in reverse. I have the reverse lit up. So it's kind of like it's on brake right now, and then as soon as you drive, it's in parking lights. The only thing that sucks is I put the orange and the red lights together, so that would be brake. I shouldn't have put the front yellow lights on because it dims the fronts too. So I'll be swapping those over. The brushless was amazing. It's so low controlled that you can just, I still got to shorten up a bunch of wires. This was me just trying to make sure everything worked. But everything, this is the, you put your steering servo, shift servo and everything on this side. This is for the light controllers. They're like 2-pin DuPont connectors for servos and stuff like this. I only had 3-pin ones, so I just cut off one, but they're still a little too big. They fit in there, but they're definitely too big for there. But they work fine. All the wiring was pretty much redone. The rear lights and the marker lights, before I even plugged anything in, I don't know if maybe it was just moving stuff around, they broke. I don't know if it was when I had the other receiver in for a while or what, but they were blown. I could not get, even outside of the vehicle, I couldn't get them to work. So this has all new LEDs. I had 12-volt LEDs here, 12-volt LEDs there. These are the stock ones, which have been running fine in the headlights. These are off, like I said, an STX24, and they've been running fine, no issue. It's running fine, no issue. So I don't know why the markers went, but they all died. Reverse lights usually aren't even in there. These are usually the blinkers. But I wanted the reverse lights. Not that I use it much, but just kind of to have. It's been great. The BKTT ESC is running amazingly. Smooth as butter. No issues at all. Stock servo still going strong. Stock servo for the two-speed, no problem. It's funny when the receiver is like 4 times the size of an ESC, but there's plenty of room there. The only thing I did was I just trimmed a little bit on the sides to make sure the Fat Viper works. There is no good way to do this with the cover on, but there we go. I just took off all the, I'm never going to put a winch on here, so I cut off all the winch stuff, and it fits in there perfectly. No issues. That's low speed. And then high speed, it's kind of, yeah. It's a rocket ship, and that's only in 2S. I don't even need 3S. So definitely worth it. I would put a Fat Viper in pretty much everything that needs a brushless now in this size. This and the Arctos are amazing with it. I won't even deal with the Purple Viper at all. I'll just be selling it or something. I don't know. But yeah, definitely worth it. I will definitely put, if I were anyone else that wants smooth throttle control, throw in the Fat Viper. I know there's a little bit of work. You need to print an adapter. I'll put the adapter up on my website, actually, if anyone needs to buy it because they don't have a 3D printer. I try to do it relatively a good price. Shipping alone is like $5 just to ship anything. So it's free shipping, but it's built into the price kind of thing because it's easier. So the part takes almost no time to print. So you're mostly paying for shipping and a little bit of my time. That's it. I'm not trying to go crazy with it. Just make stuff available for people. I do have the magnet mount stuff. I sold a few of those now. Thanks everyone who's bought them. Yeah, it's great. I love it now. This and the Arctos are now pretty much where I want them. This is done. I don't think I need anything else on this. Cleaning up some wires and that's it. The Arctos, I wanted to do a new rear bumper, that's it. Fat Viper completely changed both of these. But anyways, I just wanted to come back and let you guys know about that. Everything's been great on here. The past couple video updates, along with this brushless. Perfect. So thanks for watching again. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I'll try to answer as much as I can. Oh, I just realized I lost a chrome mirror. And they probably don't sell that, so I'll have to buy a whole kit of the accessories. Whatever. Maybe I can get some tape. Anyways, enough rambling. Thanks for watching. Throw the comments or questions in the bottom. The file for the brushless motor is up on Maker World right now. I see a few people have already downloaded it. Same with the Arctos one. So hopefully everyone Fat Vipers everything like I'm doing. That's just the way to go. This is awesome too, being so small. Went in my backpack great. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.